On the evening of November 8, 2016, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi appeared on national television and declared that 500 and 1,000 rupee notes would immediately cease to be legal tender. Overnight, 86% of the country's circulating cash reserves were invalidated. Citizens rushed to banks, forming massive queues to exchange their savings before the paper lost all value. The domestic economy temporarily stalled. But while cameras were focusing on the streets of Delhi and Mumbai, an unseen crisis was playing out in Karachi. Inside heavily guarded warehouses, massive stockpiles of currency were suddenly turning into worthless scrap paper. The policy effectively turned India's internal currency system into a financial weapon, neutralizing the liquidity of the Karachi criminal empire overnight. The Karachi operation began out of necessity. After the 1947 partition of India and Pakistan, Abdul Sattar Karachi arrived in Karachi as a refugee. With almost no capital, he set up a modest currency exchange on a footpath, trading foreign bills for local cash. His sons, Javed and Altaf, inherited this business and scaled it using an ancient financial system known as hawala. Hawala operates entirely outside traditional banking. Money doesn't physically cross borders. Instead, brokers use a strict honor code within their specific merchant community to settle debts with one another locally, leaving zero paper trail. By 1993, this invisible, trust-based ledger attracted the attention of Dawood Ibrahim, the mastermind behind the Mumbai bombings. Operating under the protection of Pakistan's ISI intelligence agency, Ibrahim needed a way to move extortion and smuggling revenues globally without triggering bank audits. The Kanani brothers accepted the contract. They pivoted their local exchange into a dedicated money laundering organization, providing a secure financial circulatory system for terror cells and international syndicates. To handle the influx of illicit capital, the brothers divided the map. Altaf Kanani relocated to Dubai, setting up the global infrastructure. He embedded operatives in major financial hubs from London to Toronto. This map illustrates the scale of Altaf's operation. Billions of dollars in cash from Mexican drug cartels and Middle Eastern terror groups flowed into his regional hubs. The system washed the money through legitimate-looking accounts and dispersed it globally, completely clean. While Altaf managed the global dollars, Javed stayed in Karachi. Partnering with the ISI, Javed's division focused on economic sabotage by manufacturing fake Indian currency notes. These were known as super notes. Pakistan exploited a loophole to acquire security-grade paper from the exact British supplier India used. By mimicking specific watermarks and fibers, Javed's presses churned out counterfeit rupees precise enough to pass through digital ATM sensors undetected. The Karachi Empire functioned as two massive, distinct machines. To stop them, intelligence agencies would need to coordinate two entirely different strategies to strike both heads of the operation at exactly the right time. Taking down Altaf and Hubei posed a major jurisdictional challenge. His hawala network ran on spoken promises and encrypted chats, leaving nothing for financial regulators to audit. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration engineered a multinational trap. Undercover DEA agents adopted false identities, posing as international drug smugglers who needed a reliable way to wash their cartel cash. Over several weeks of encrypted communication, Altaf took the bait. During a recorded call, he assured the undercover operatives that whether their cash was tied to violence or cocaine, his machine would clean it. In September 2015, the DEA lured Altaf to a face-to-face meeting in Panama. He was arrested the moment he stepped off the plane, eventually landing in a Miami federal prison. The global dollar arm was permanently severed. But the victory was incomplete. Javed Kanani was still operating safely within Pakistan, commanding state-protected printing presses, capable of flooding India with billions in counterfeit currency. By late 2016, Javed had filled entire warehouses with these highly engineered 500 and 1,000 rupee super notes. They were packed agmeti to be smuggled across the border to fund regional terror operations and destabilize the Indian market. In New Delhi, a small group of officials, led by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, analyzed the intelligence. They knew they could not launch a physical raid on a protected facility inside Karachi. They opted for a different approach. Instead of trying to physically intercept the cash as it crossed the border, they decided to change the rules of the currency itself. By invalidating the specific denominations Javed was counterfeiting, India engaged in a form of asymmetric warfare, devaluing an enemy's assets from within the safety of its own borders. When the Prime Minister made his broadcast, the impact in Karachi was instantaneous. The physical paper in Javed's warehouses remained, but its value evaporated. Years of careful counterfeiting work instantly turned to trash. The collapse triggered severe blowback. Terror syndicates and criminal organizations who had parked millions in Javed's network demanded their money back. Technically bankrupt and facing legal pressure, Javed's situation rapidly deteriorated. Barely a month after the demonetization announcement, on December 4, 2016, Javed Kanani was found dead at an under-construction tower in Karachi, suddenly plunging to the ground from the 8th floor. Local police arrived, quickly declared the death a suicide, and closed the file the next day without conducting an autopsy. The remaining architect of the empire was gone. Dismantling the world's most dangerous illicit bank required two distinct forces, hitting it from opposite sides: a highly coordinated DEA sting to freeze the global dollar flow, and a blunt domestic policy decision that zeroed out their counterfeit reserves overnight.